Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's Question of the Week. This week, a listener asked, can the false prophets be the people of today's churches? This is a great question that Chris dives deep into, and we go to the Bible to understand this question. And enjoy the discussion.
Welcome to our new open forum program. Please go ahead with your call.
This is a quick question. John 8:31, the false prophet, this is when Jesus was back then, but we know it's about the churches today too. So in 8:31, it says, the Jews that believed on him. But by the time we get to 8:44, I'm not saying read all that, but 8:31, because the way 8:31 opens is they believed on him. He basically calls them devils by 8:44. So can we compare that to Revelation 19:20 and Matthew 24:11? Can these false prophets be the people of churches today, sir?
Well, let's look at Revelation 19:20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. The false prophet is the church in that verse.
Okay. Would it be the same in Matthew 24?
Matthew 24:11.
Yeah, would they be the same people?
Let's see, Matthew 24 and verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Well, yeah, it's speaking of, the people within the congregations who are bringing false teachings, false gospels at the time of the end. What's significant in Revelation 19:20, that the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. So the beast and the false prophet, who on one hand, it's Satan, he's the beast, he's the false prophet, and yet it's the church remade in his image. And it so happens they too were cast into the burning fire of judgment day, May 21, 2011, because all who remain in the congregations were bundled as tares for the burning. And because they were in a place there was no latter rain, they couldn't possibly have been saved. And likewise with Satan, no possibility of his salvation. Not so with the unsaved of the world today, even years into Judgment Day. We share the information from the Bible, and it's very possible that this person or that person out there in the world, God could have saved as part of the great multitude. Not possible with those who remained in the congregations. And so May 21, 2011 is the date that we can be certain they went into the fire. Now, it's, very telling in John 8, and I'll read that verse 31. It says, then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed. So he's speaking to the Jews that believed, not the Jews who didn't believe. There were plenty of those, that the Pharisees were able to stir up a lot of those Jews who didn't believe. But here Christ is speaking to the ones that believe. And as you point out, not long after we read, he brings up Abraham, and the Lord says in verse 37, I know that you're Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Jesus saith unto them, if you were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham. But now ye seek to kill me, a man that has told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Ye do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, We be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God. Jesus said unto them, If God were your Father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. Wow, that's very harsh, very direct language, and God's not fooled by outward things like circumcision. He's not fooled by outward things like baptism, and he's not fooled because someone's a physical descendant of a faithful man like Abraham, and he's not fooled because someone makes a profession of faith. They speak words of acceptance. There's no getting around what Jesus said to Nicodemus: ye must be born again. And those are the only true people of God, the ones who are born again. And so it was the time that, the end of Israel was fast approaching, and Christ was telling them the difficult truth, the hard truth, that you are not truly my people. Your father is not God, it is the devil, it is Satan. And this does tie in with the church if we look at the parable of the wheat and the tares. In Matthew 13, it says in this parable, and this parable is basically telling us about the church age, in verse 24, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. So we read, the kingdom of heaven is like a man, and the man would be Christ, which sowed good seed in his field, but then men slept, and his enemy came and sowed tares amongst the wheat. Now, in the exposition, as Jesus reveals the interpretation of the parable, he says in Matthew 13, verse 37, he answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The tares that the enemy sowed are the children of the wicked one, children of the devil, just like Christ said to the Jews. No difference, because they're unsaved and they believe the lie. And that's what Christ points out in John 8. Because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me. And after just telling them, you're of your father, the devil, he's a liar from the beginning and the father of it. And they believe the lie. Therefore, they are of their father, the liar from the beginning. And God's people are of the truth. Christ is the truth. And I think he also said there in John 8, the truth will set you free. And that's one way of narrowing it down. We, the elect of the truth, tares, the ungodly who profess to be Christian, and they're of the lie.